not done yet. I knew she would look at us. Okay, we'll bring the meeting back to order, please. And let's see, we are at the city attorney's report, and the city attorney is still here, which is a great sign. Go ahead, Audrey. What do you got for us? We're going to see if we can get through this tonight.
I have something with lots of color, but you won't see a single bit of color in it, and that is the color palette. I worked with Sam Vincent along with Arlene and Carl to prepare a draft of the revisions to now include a color palette provision within your old US 41 redevelopment overlay. I did put the whole old US 41 redevelopment overlay, which is in the zoning ordinance, in this ordinance. But the section that's being changed predominantly is just adding a mandatory color palette. There's two sections of it. The easiest one is the one in back, which it's a shame it's not color-coded, but it's the exhibits, I believe it's Exhibit C, or Exhibit 4 on page 25, that actually sets forth the colors that are available on the Sherwin-Williams. I have talked with Sam Vincent. He's trying to get very large color swatches so that when people come in, they're whole big plates and people can see it on a larger frame than what you're seeing here.
But Audrey, the real guts of the matter here comes down to 9 and 11, or to 9, doesn't it? I thought we had cleared this up. It says owners have until such and such a date to get their buildings in compliance. I thought we weren't going to do that.
And that was something I put it in as a optional, so I'm fine if you don't want to do it. That's
Council, do you
the
want
reason I
people
bring
to
things
have
back.
to paint their buildings by such and such a date?
Nope.
No,
I do.
Yeah,
But maybe
okay.
not that date. I'll tell you why, because we put aside $10,000 to help people, and we do want to generate a different look down on Old 41. I think this is an interest in the program we've set forward.
So if that is the case and we want to make an incentive program, shouldn't we just do an incentive program instead of making it a mandatory program?
Well, if it were mandatory, that would incentivize them. You know,
Okay.
hey, we got money here,
Well,
and you have to paint your place.
Let's just
Hello.
let's poll the council. I mean, council, it's a pretty simple matter. Do you want to make it to where any new buildings that come in have to be painted that color, but you're not making it mandatory that everybody's got to be done by a certain time? And we can use that program. We can say, oh, by the way, if you see a building that's really bad color, we'll pay you to repaint your building if you'll come to this color.
Yeah.
Or do you want to make it by a certain date? Steve,
I don't want a certain date.
okay. Janet,
No certain date.
No.
not myself.
No certain date.
Martha,
Different opinions.
okay.
certainly.
So we're going to strike that.
Okay.
What else?
Nobody
strike that now. With striking
what
that,
about
I'm
him?
also
I'm sorry,
striking-
Bill.
No certain date.
Whoa,
Hey, Slim.
you're the man.
Now, with striking that, I'm also
All right.
striking the enforcement section because you don't need enforcement now.
Okay.
So I can take that section out, so that would be G. The other question is, I did have language in there originally, and this is going on page 12 of the ordinance. The first 25 that go in would get the incentive. I
Yes.
changed it to the city may adopt an incentive plan for property owners to paint their entire exterior of their
Yes,
buildings.
Yes.
And that's
Correcto.
existing buildings, of
Yes.
Correcto.
course.
Very good.
And,
Good. Anything else?
no, and that would be it. I'm
Okay.
sorry that I don't have pretty colors.
Motion
We
to
want to,
advertise.
motion to send to permission to advertise. Second. Any other discussion?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
SherwinWilliams.com. Go to Southern Beaches and look at it on the internet because there's a lot of browns. And there's no salmon, which or shrimp or peach or one of those Florida colors, coral. There's none of that in there, and that's a real Florida color, and brown really isn't. So
Okay,
a lot
well,
of gray and brown.
By the time, when we bring back the first reading, you'll go ahead and have that palette for us so we can take a look at it. Is that correct?
Great.
I believe Mr. Vincent or,
Well, the answer is yes.
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 Okay,
Thank you.
sorry. Okay, roll call.
Councilman McIntosh?
Aye.
Councilwoman Martin?
Aye.
Councilman Slechta?
Aye.
Mayor Nelson?
Aye.
Councilman Simmons?
Aye.
Councilwoman Simons?
Hi.
Councilman Longcart?
Aye.
Okay, good. Let's carry on here. Item B.
Thank you. Item B is a request by Family Health Centers, and you heard from Mr. Johns today, to assess the road impact fees for general office instead of medical for a portion of the building. In this case, council adopted the redevelopment plan that included allowing until, I believe, 2014, if somebody paid impact fees and it was existing space, they could move in and change their use. In this case, most of that building qualifies. There's a small portion, with small being 3,697 square feet.
I'm going to make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion, there's a second. Any other questions? Council, do you have anything you need to tell us before we vote on this? Nope? Good. Roll call.
Councilwoman Martin?
Aye.
Councilman Slakta?
Aye.
Mayor Nelson?
Aye.
Councilman Simmons?
Aye.
Councilwoman Simons?
Aye.
Councilman Longcart?
Aye.
Councilman McIntosh?
Aye.
Good. Audrey, do you have anything else for us?
No, sir, thank you.
Very good. City managers report.
Thank you,
Carl.
Mr. Mayor. A couple of items this evening. First off, we have been, I think, in communication with all of you, hopefully all of you, to try to set a date for the sustainability workshop. It appears that the date of February 12th is the date that everyone's kind of settled down on, and we'd like you to formally select that date.
Council, that good?
That's the Tuesday.
So moved?
I don't know what date
Let's
it
see,
is, sir.
February 12th, that's what you said, right?
9 o'clock, right?
Yeah, 9 o'clock.
In the right month here.
This is February, right?
February 12th is
correct.
Tuesday.
2 days before Lincoln's birthday.
It's 2014 we're talking about, because
Lincoln's birthday.
While we're on the subject of sustainability, Councilman.
Well,
Mack-
we're going to set
yeah,
this date here
Yes, sir.
first, okay?
I'm all good with that.
Everybody's okay with this date? There's a
Yes,
motion
sir.
to second. Roll call.
Councilman Slakta?
Aye.
Mayor Nelson?
Aye.
Councilman Simmons?
No, because I have a conflict, but
Councilwoman Simons?
Aye.
Councilman Longcart?
Aye.
Councilman McIntosh? Councilwoman Martin?
Aye.
Sorry about that, Pete.
that's all right.
Okay, that's sustainability workshop. And do you have an aside, allow a quick aside here?
Yeah, real quick, did Councilman McIntosh inquire about the adaptation plan from Jim Beaver at the? Okay, I hope,
Okay.
is that something we're going to bring forward or something?
Okay.
Cool.
Good.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much. Okay, item B. Carl.
Yes, this is actually a request by staff to approve the proposed Economic Development Incentive Award Program. This is a program that we first submitted to council at the Economic Development Workshop. Council seemed to be interested in this proposal, however, was talking actually about expanding those people who would be eligible for such an incentive award. We have reworded it at a high level to involve everyone, not just realtors. And if the council is so inclined, we'd recommend approval, or at least get us to the point where we can put the program together, much like the other incentives, and then bring them back to you for final approval.
Counselor, are you okay with that?
I'm okay. I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Is there a
Second.
second? There's a second by Bill.
There's a question.
Any other discussion?
Are these targeted industries the allowed uses in the downtown Bonita area?
Well, some of them would be.
Some of them would be. The targeted, this is going to be citywide for targeted industries.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay? And so we have motion and second. Are there no discussion? Roll call.
Councilman McIntosh?
Aye.
Councilwoman Martin?
Aye.
Councilman Slakta?
Aye.
Mayor Nelson?
Aye.
Councilman Simmons?
Aye.
Councilwoman Simons?
Aye.
Councilman Longcart?
Aye.
Okay,
That's all I
Carl.
have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mayor and council member items reports. Discussion of the governor's appointee to the Southwest Regional Planning Council. And I believe we have two that officially and one that they said was on the way. Could I make a suggestion? Was it? Okay, 3 official. Could I make a suggestion that on those 3 official ones at least, that we go ahead and I think we make a recommendation, send a letter of recommendation with each one of them, because we don't know. Is that good? Because
Yes.
we don't know which one he's going to pick up. He's not going to look at all of them, I can guarantee you that. So if he picks up one of ours, it ought to have a letter of recommendation with it. What do you think?
Good
I
approach.
think that is a perfect solution,
Okay.
because I would hate to have to pick between Fred and,
So
you
you
know
just
who
made
I
a mo-
want
so
already.
you
I
just made
agree
a
with
motion.
you. I agree with you. I would make that motion.
Motion by Martha and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Councilwoman Martin?
Aye.
Councilman Slakta?
Aye.
Mayor Nelson?
Aye.
Councilman Simmons?
Aye.
Councilwoman Simons?
Aye.
Councilman Longcart?
Aye.
Councilman McIntosh?
Okay, now we've got an appointment for the Citizens Advisory Council representative for the MPO. We have a really good candidate. It took us a long time to do this, way too long to do this, but we have a really good candidate, Ted there, Chico and he works with Rick Barber's company there. He's very excited about it. It's hard to find somebody who's excited about doing something like that. I will tell you that I did get a phone call from Bob Sharkey but it was probably 2 weeks after I had gotten this particular one right here. I personally would recommend Ted Trico. He's very experienced. He'll do us a really good job. I make a motion. We have a motion and a second. Any
But
other
may I-
discussion?
Well, it's kind of the same thing like before. He might be super wonderful, great, and the best guy in the world for the job.
Right.
But we made, how many people out in the public know about this and want to apply?
Oh,
for it?
yes, but I
didn't hear
told
about it.
everybody about this. How many months ago did I tell everybody about this?
I don't remember it.
I brought it before council when Dave McKee signed his resignation.
August
in,
1st.
And I asked everybody, I
Mayor.
asked all the council members right at that time.
Got it.
Okay? So I have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Councilman Slakta.
Aye.
Mayor Nelson.
Aye.
Councilman Simmons.
Aye.
Councilwoman Simons. Councilman Longcart.
Aye.
Councilman McIntosh. Councilwoman Martin.
Aye.
Okay, mayor and council member items. What does it say? Council members would jointly sign. Oh, okay, this is yours. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, for the benefit,
Councilman Simmons.
for the benefit of the folks at home, I'd like to read this. I know it's getting late, but we're looking at it, and on November 6th, 2012, the voters of Bonita Springs, Lee County, Florida, and the United States went to the polls to vote for president, U.S. Senate, U.S. Congress, judicial, state, county, local offices, and ballot issues. Interest in the election was high throughout the country as well in Lee County. Unfortunately, during the early voting period leading up to the election day, there were signs that voting was taking too long, thus disenfranchising those who wanted to vote but could not take the hours that it would take to get through the lines and voting process. It appeared as if a lack of planning, lack of voting locations, equipment shortages, and manpower continued to plague the voting process on Election Day, preventing people from voting, and in some cases, where people did vote, they voted so late that the presidential, Senate, congressional, and most other local races already had to declare winner. Lee County, as well as the state of Florida, was once again thrust into the negative spotlight, reminiscent of the 2000 election and the hanging chads. When analyzed, surrounding counties to Lee County had far higher turnout and fewer problems than Lee. It is my belief that the residents of Lee County, and in particular, the city of Bonita Springs, deserve better than this. We believe that our elected officials at all levels need to be held accountable. At the very minimum, we ask that Mrs. Harrington put forward a plan, clearly stating her office's strengths and limitations, and further stating her objectives, strategies, timetable, and proposed budget to ensure that this never occurs again in Lee County. The plan should also specifically state how these actions will ensure that this will never happen again, and what further contingencies she would have to adjust her plan during early voting and election day, should the turnout be heavier than expected. Further, I would think that we should ask Mrs. Harrington how the county and the municipalities can work cooperatively with her office to ensure her plan is a success. I respectfully request that Ms. Harrington or a designee from her office attend a Bonita Springs City Council meeting to present their findings, recommendations, and solutions prior to the end of the first quarter, March 31st, 2013. Bonita Springs, Lee County, and the state of Florida deserve and command the right to vote in an expedient, professional, and first world manner.
Okay, would you like to make
Yeah, first world.
a motion to have us send a letter to Sharon Harrington along those lines, and then ask her to come to a council meeting and present those findings?
Yes, sir.
I think that would be a good idea.
I agree, but I think Mrs. Harrington should be here.
That's what I mean. Have her come
Not-
here.
Not a not a
Oh, not a
designee.
designee?
No.
We can strike a
Oh,
designee, that's fine.
Yeah, request that Sharon Harrington come here.
Okay.
Okay?
We'll
Is
give
a
her-
motion and a second?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, any other discussion? Yes.
I don't disagree with the idea, but the Secretary of State has called all six of the county
Gonna say it.
supervisors together. I'd suggest that we allow the process to take its course, and then, if it doesn't work, get involved. But we've already started. I mean, the governor's already started
True.
this.
With only having one meeting this month, yeah, we talked about this a month ago, but here we are. So I propose that we move forward with it.
I think
And the
that,
headlines in today's newspapers, right?
Yeah.
State opens an election probe,
Yeah,
goes in
so-
today's Naples Daily News. Election hearing is slated for Lee.
Yep.
I do also know that the chairman of the Republican Party has a meeting planned with Sharon Harrington, and as I'm sure other parties do too, so.
Okay, and what, I think it would be all right to send this letter out. I don't think, let's review it carefully and be sure it's not too pointed, because she is working the problem. I did have a real long conversation with her. She is willing to come here to city council and explain out what she's found, because they are meeting together. And I think it'd be a good idea for her to come here and explain to us what she's found out, and at least get from her what the problems and the challenges are. Because the way I talk to her is that she is, to make some of these solutions happen, she is gonna need our help as lobbyists and as municipalities. So, I haven't got any problem with the motion. I think it's probably a good idea.
I think it's a good idea, but, that, you know, I don't know how you do it. There are things that you see going on when you work the polls that you knew should have been done differently. And, or money that was sent back to our county commission, $1 million, which could have bought those scanners to have extra scanners. $1 million was sent back to our county commission. You know, I'm very concerned about what happened, and there was a different attitude there this year. I'm very concerned about it.
Yeah. Council, we're going to go ahead and
Fine
take a
with
vote on it, and if she doesn't want to come here and talk about it, she can
She
tell us
doesn't have
that.
to come,
And if
yeah.
she does, well, we can, I'm sure you'll have questions for her, won't you?
Yeah, she doesn't have to come.
Okay. Roll call.
Mayor Nelson.
Aye.
Councilman Simmons.
Aye.
Councilwoman Simons.
Aye.
Councilman Longcart.
Aye.
Councilman McIntosh.
Aye.
Councilwoman Martin.
Aye.
Councilman Slakta.
Aye.
Okay. We're going to go rather quickly, I would hope, through
Yeah.
council members' items. Do you have anything for us tonight, Steve?
Yes, I do. In front of you is the packet that was given to the students.
Using the microphone, please.
I don't know.
Oh, come on, Rick.
I ain't gonna get her.
Oh, ho.
Thank you.
You're not helping. Go ahead, Steve. Go ahead.
In front of you is the packet given to the students on Monday morning. It has all the information regarding Government Day. If you look at the insert page, that's the shadow you'll have with you is the mentor. We have 43 kids who are hand-picked out of Estero High School, and that will make a great opportunity to put life into government, history, and civics. So I appreciate everybody's opportunity. Participation. Please look and recognize we're starting at 8 o'clock sharp. The kids will be here, dressed, name tags, ready to go. Secondly, one more thing. I was looking at the schedule and holidays and vacations and all, and I'm concerned that the New Year's holiday goes Saturday, Sunday. We're not open Monday. We're closed on the 1st, and we're expected to have scheduled a city council meeting for the 2nd, which doesn't give a lot of time for the staff to prepare. You'll be working with a skeleton crew. I'm not trying to do your job, Carl, but if you have a suggestion about whether we should or should not or
Yeah,
could.
the council member and I chatted about this earlier today, and really I'd not frankly given much thought to it, but I would recommend, just to make this short, that if council's so inclined that we cancel the meeting on the 2nd, we are likely to have a skeleton crew, based on past years, of employees the week between Christmas and New Year's, which would make it perhaps more difficult to get a packet out anyway. You also have a city attorney who is not going to be available on the 2nd anyway, which just might add to the issues. And so we're okay. If the council wants to cancel the meeting on the 2nd, we're okay with that.
Audrey, we can vote on a scheduling matter, can't we, without prior advertising?
Yes.
Okay. You want to make that motion, Steve?
I will make a motion.
There's a motion to do away with that meeting, and the second, cancel the meeting. Any other comment? Roll call.
Councilman Simmons.
Councilman Simmons?
Oh, sorry. Aye.
Councilwoman Simons.
I was waiting to hear Simon. Sorry about that.
I'm sorry. It's like we're like the Bobbsey twins over here.
A gift that
Aye.
keeps on giving, man.
Councilman Lockhart.
Aye.
Councilman
My
McIntosh.
legacy.
Councilwoman Martin.
Aye.
Councilman Slakta.
Aye.
Mayor Nelson.
Aye. Steve, you got anything else for us?
No.
Okay, Janet, what do you got?
Okay, first off, last night, amazing. Congratulations to the handful, When you think about what happened, there's a handful of very dedicated volunteers that pulled off last night, and to our city staff, again, a handful of people even on staff that pulled that off. It was the best ever. It gets better every year, so last night was the best. We had our very own winter wonderland going on. It was amazing. I want to remind people that our bicycle pedestrian group, we're looking for applicants. So we need to get that going. And then I had the opportunity, I was invited to attend Florida Gulf Coast University Environmental Civics class. The students did their class presentations, and the Crew Lands and the Nature Place were the location for their class projects. Amazing. It's really neat to see what they're doing. And what they did, one of the projects is they're out there measuring and indexing the trees, and that's a project that our tree committee has wanted to do for the city, so they've started it on the property. And then they also completed a quick reader brochure, so that if you go out there with your smartphone, they now have videos that explain the Gopher Tortoise Preserve, the bee house, the bat house, and the trails. It's absolutely amazing what's going on out there, so thank you.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Steven,
I have nothing.
I got on either. Go ahead.
I just want to echo Holiday in the Park was a great success last night. It was absolutely well done to Laura and the entire staff that plans that. This Saturday, the Bonita Springs Historical Society is taking a trip to Yosepa Island, which I'll be participating in. Unfortunately, will not be at the staff holiday party. We'll be at the boat parade, which is also this Saturday. So maybe in future years, maybe we can look at that scheduling. I know that's not always easy, as it turns out, but this Saturday is definitely a busy day. So please participate in one of those 3 events, probably more that's going on. Thank you.
Okay, Martha.
Yeah, the boat parade, and I had an invitation to cook marshmallows and make s'mores over a campfire. I can't do that either, and so.
Oh, life's hell, ain't it?
Oh man, things to do. Listen, here's some exciting news. If you consider it exciting, the committee appointments for our state legislature were made. We're right where we ought to be. Okay, Garrett Richter, our state senator, is the chair for the gaming. So that's pretty cool. And our former state senator also serves on that committee. Matt Caldwell is the chair for the Agricultural and Natural Resources Committee, which is going to be dealing with fertilizer. Thank you very much. And, he's our ally. And Ray Rodriguez is on the Energy, our new state rep, Energy and Utilities Subcommittee, which is good for us in sustainability, we hope, and energy. Well, let's hope something happens there this year. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy Hanukkah. The beautiful Bonita banyan tree. Okay, I'm almost speechless. It was gorgeous. It's just amazing. What a beautiful feeling over there. If you haven't seen it, take a drive on Old 41, see the beautiful banyan tree with all the big holiday lights. Just amazing. And then, finally, yes, Happy Hanukkah and Merry Christmas to everybody.
Oh, thank you very much. Bill.
Thank you, Ben. I attended today a government affairs meeting at the Chamber. It was a nice time and nice discussion about issues, and it was fun. Also, tomorrow at 3 o'clock, the Library Task Force is going to be meeting with Mr. Kay and maybe more than 2 people. But that's scheduled for tomorrow. We'll let you know how that plays out. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And just as a side note here, Senator Benaquisto's aide called and said that the senator wanted our legislative agenda so she could take care of us this year. I thought that was pretty cool, and we sent it to her. Along with congratulations letters to Senator Richter as well from the city and from all of you. Okay, approval of minutes.
So move.
Have a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
And a second. Roll call, please.
Councilman McIntosh?
Aye.
Councilwoman Martin?
Aye.
Councilman Slackton?
Aye.
Mayor Nelson?
Aye.
Councilman Simmons?
Aye.
Councilwoman Simons?
Aye.
Councilman Lockhart?
Aye.
Public comment. Anyone wishing to speak on any matter, please come forward. Going, gone. Thank you very much, everybody, and you have a great holiday season and whatnot.
December 19th.
Hey, we got that next meeting.
I can say whatever I want to say.